Hello there, Ray here, and recently my friend Early Reflex has shown me that there has been a overhaul with the Minecraft lighting engine. And today we're going to take a look at what exactly did they change and how much of an improvement it is compared to the previous 1.13.2 full release. Now what the lighting engine is when you remove a block, the game then determines what the light level should be there. So if I remove this block, it's going to figure out what's supposed to go here. And if I stand underneath this block, and then I allow it, so if I remove this block, it's going to allow access from the skylight straight above to go down into these blocks. And all this calculation of the light is being done by the lighting engine. As many of you guys probably know, the lighting engine in Minecraft has been pretty poor in the past. Let's go ahead and set up some tests and see how it compares to previous versions. So for testing, I'm going to be standing near 0, 0. This is a spot where the server kind of starts all this information and moves outwards. I've also went ahead and stopped the daylight, stopped the weather, also stopped mob spawning, put it on peaceful, and stop the random ticks so that those won't interfere with the testing as well. And a couple other little things. Currently see I have the F3 screen up and there's quite a bit of information here that's very helpful. Like you can see the frames, I have it set to 60 frames. You also see there's no chunks being updated. You can see what the integrated server is running at. It's currently running at 1 millisecond per tick, which is really good. It's about the lowest that it will go. And the highest the server will run without it losing ticks is 50 milliseconds per tick. So you can see it's at the extremely low end, so it's doing really good right now. The TX stands for transmitted. This is the number of packets I'm transmitting. This is the number of packets I'm receiving, the RX. So we're currently in 1.13.2, which is the current full release. And we're going to fill in a 60 by 60 block area with a stone. And essentially what this is going to do is going to put a huge area covering the skylight. Meaning everything underneath is going to have to change the light level so that it's going to have to decrease from the 15 it's currently having from the sky all the way down to 0, which is going to create a lot of lag as the game's trying to figure out all the different types of lighting that has to go on down there. Let's go ahead and hit enter and see how laggy it makes it. You can see as soon as I hit enter, you see that we're currently receiving 0 packets up here. There's a 0 right here. We're not receiving any packets. Okay, still receiving packets, still waiting. There he goes. Okay, you can see how this number here went really high, the milliseconds. So it took a long time to put in those last couple blocks, but now you can see we start receiving packets. So you notice that how kind of everything froze, especially for receiving packets, and all of a sudden went really high, and it must have took maybe about 30 seconds for the game to put in this big section of stone. And underneath of it, if we fly underneath of it, you'll see that right where it says skylight access, so here's the light level. As we move towards the center, it should move down to 0, because currently we're getting 0 lights from blocks, but we are getting some from the skylight around the edges. So if we move towards the center, it appears they still haven't fixed the bug to do with skylight access, because if you would stand in the center here, it should always stay at 0. It seems it's a problem to do with chunks. As you move towards the edge, it gets higher, move towards the center, goes back down to 0, where all this in here should really be set to 0. There's also a bug we noticed during the upgrading between 1.12 and 1.13. What was occurring that overhangs would not update their light levels after being upgraded. So we just spots that have lights in it. This seems like a similar problem when we put in this huge structure up above. It wasn't upgrading all the lights in here, it was just upgrading some of the lights. Now let's head over to the most recent 1.14 snapshot and see if we notice a difference. Okay, so we are now in the latest 1.14 snapshot. And you can see that we got the same type of command, we're at the same Y level, everything's exactly the same. And let's go ahead and watch these different statistics up here as we'll go ahead and press enter. And you notice that, wow, that was fast. That was about maybe a second or 2 seconds. That was extremely fast. And you notice that this kind of spiked a little bit, the amount of packets that we're receiving, but it'll go back down again. So there's definitely a huge change with the latest snapshot. They definitely changed the engines. Let's go underneath of it. We can see we got sky axis of 15. As we move towards the center, it's going downwards. And let's see, we keep going downwards, downwards. Okay, it looks like it's doing pretty good. In here, it's all 0. This is a lot better than it was in 1.13. We had some problems with that. So this all seems to be 0. This is all good. If I move down lower, sometimes there was bugs where if you go into a different sub-chunk, they wouldn't update the lighting, but wow. Now even if we go lower, the sky axis is shown to be correct, so that bug is fixed as well. Let's move back to the outside. It starts increasing. Wow, that is very impressive. That is amazing. So one of the major ways that you used to be able to create lag is just by poking holes in a big huge overhang like this. So essentially what happens when you poke a hole, then the game sees that skylight can go through this hole, and then it's going to have to calculate all the different blocks of air down here and what skylight they should have applied to them, which is extremely laggy normally. So let's go ahead and see if we notice any lag. We'll poke this hole and we'll watch some of the statistics. We got about, it's slowly going down, but evening out up here. We're still getting 60 frames. Let's go poke this hole. Oh my goodness. There's like no noticeable lag. That is insane. Holy moly, man. That is crazy. That means huge, massive flying machines or anything to do with covering up light or exposing an area that was dark with some light is not going to create any lag, it seems now. That is extremely impressive. I gotta say hats off to Mojang for this change. Now what's even more laggier than breaking a hole is covering the hole. So let's go ahead and cover the hole and see if we notice anything. Wow, that is insane. Break a hole, covering hole. And you can see the chunks are updating, but I don't see any frames drops. I don't see any massive amounts of packets being sent. The client server is handling it very well. So just as a comparison, I'll hop back onto 113.2 and we are still here with our big huge stone overhang, and let's go ahead and poke a hole in this and see if we notice any difference. Let's poke a hole right here in the center. Okay, it looks like everything has kind of leveled off. Let's go ahead and poke a hole, and yeah, it created some lag. And notice that when I try to cover it, notice that huge lag spike. Let's go ahead and break a hole and cover it again. Notice everything kind of freezes, went to 0 frames per second. Breaking, covering it, clicked, nothing's happening there. So yeah, big difference. Now people used to be able to lag servers down pretty fast just by creating tons of updates with lighting. So a lot of people went to Spigot, but let's go ahead and try it in 1.13.2. So people normally would create these machines where it would move a block in front of and out of an area of large light. And you can see I just put a block in front of this. See how bad my current situation is? Everything just went to craps. Now the statistics are not even updating in the top left because it just completely lagged out my entire client. And now it says my Minecraft is not responding. You can see that in the top left hand corner. That is just horrible. You can see I even got a little loading symbol now. You can still hear it, but nothing's actually currently visually occurring. And yeah, my client just crashed now. So that was pretty unfortunate. Let's go ahead and try this in the latest snapshot. So I got the same machine. I got the block covering and uncovering the hole. It's going great. You can see that I'm not getting hardly any frames reductions. Also, you notice that there is a lot of chunks that are updating, but the amount of ticks coming through as well as packets, a little bit high, but that's expected to do with all the updates that are occurring. Let's go ahead underneath and let's actually see the light levels change. So you can see that they have not only the client light, they also have the server light. So the client light is showing that there is 15 skylight most of the time. And you can see the server once in a while when the block's in front, it flickers down to 0, which is what creates all the updates. And you can see the client once in a while switches down to 0 as well, but it's not very often. I really like that they added this client as well as server lighting, because sometimes you'll get ghost lighting, which is server side, sometimes you get ghost lighting, which is client side. But it all seems to be very good. We got some packets that are being received. Other than that, we're not really getting hardly any frame reduction or lag from the client. So I went ahead and slowed down the clock a little bit just by putting a repeater there. And now you can visually see it switching from 15 to 0 for both the client as well as the server. A lot easier to see. And you can also notice that we're not really getting any problems either. I also want to kind of see how water interacted. So let's go ahead and just drop some water down and see how, if there's any difference between this version and the other version. We are getting some updates, getting a couple packets being sent, but nothing too much is happening. So we're back here in 1.13.2, the full release, and let's go ahead and just release this water and see if we notice any difference. Oh, there was a little bit of lag there in the beginning, but otherwise after that it seems to have been compensated. I think probably just because it covered up the light and the light levels had to be adjusted, and after that it seems like it's flowing down normally. I gotta say once again, I'm extremely impressed by this update. This means that really large flying machines, such as like Comet's massive super fast quarry, which normally has a big huge platform over top of it to prevent tons of light updates from occurring all at once, would probably not even need that big platform above it to operate. I highly recommend you guys check out his awesome quarry. It allows you to collect blocks with a humongous flying machine and sends all those blocks down to a central location to be stored. There'll be a link down in the description. This also means like turning on huge light displays with tons of lights will also not be as laggy as prior. So if you want to make like a huge light show with different lights turning on and off, That's now an option that can be done without having to worry about laying down your computer. This also means that people that use like redstone torches in their redstone probably don't have to worry about so much about keeping those guys lit so they don't create light updates. But like any new feature, there's probably a couple little quirks that they have to work out with this. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and if you found this video interesting, be sure to go ahead and give it a like as well as share it with others. And if you'd like to see more videos about vanilla survival as well as the 1.14 snapshots, go ahead and subscribe, and if you want to get notifications, you can hit that little bell button. And if you guys know of any other types of tests I should do with the light update engine, or if you come across any problems with it, please tell me down in the comments. Bye bye!